So you're welcome back. So in this video we are going to learn about React components. So components are independent and reusable bits of code. They serve the same purpose as JavaScript functions but work in isolation and return HTML. So what you need to remember about a function is about a component is that it's like JavaScript function and it returns HTML. So if a component does not return HTML, then it has not fulfilled its role as a component. So a component is a function that returns HTML. I know functions are reusable bit of code. So components comes in two ways. We have the class-based component and the functional-based component. But functional components is fast replacing class components. And why is that so? Because of hooks. I'll learn about hooks in a moment. Now there's a precaution when you're creating your own custom component. Remember that a component name must start with a capital letter. Please don't forget that. If you use small letter, then React will frown at you and you have errors. A component name must start with a capital letter. For example, we have a component here, a function, and the name of the component, which is a functional component, is what? Car. Then it will return a HTML code in JSS format, which is hi, I am a car. Now how do we use this functional component? Using a functional component or rendering a component, we use angle bracket, then the name of the component, which is car, space, just like this. Now remember that in normal JavaScript, after you finish creating a function like this, to call it or to invoke the function, you just need the function name and the parentheses. So if it accepts some argument, you pass in the word argument. But that is not how we do it in React. In React, we call a component as if it's a tag, and the tag name must start with a capital letter, and that is the component name or the name of the functional components. So components can receive props, and you can have a component inside a component. So let's see how we can create a component in React. So to create a component, inside this my source folder or SRC, I'm going to create a new folder called components. So this is where all my custom components will be. So I'm going to create a component called car. So this is just the convention I use. So just to break this, I'll create another one called cat. So now I have two folders or two component folders inside my components folder, which is car and cat. So the one I want to create now is what is the car component. So I'll click on new file. Remember, a component name must start with a capital letter. So I have car.jsx. Now just to explain something, now React, without using invite, you can create a component as JS or JSX, but because we are using invite just enforces the use of JSX. I've tried using only JS and I had some issues, so perhaps there are some other settings I have to do, but since it was just the since it was just a file name issue and that wasn't a big deal, so I didn't have to do research on how to fix that. But just know that to avoid errors, save your component name with the extension .jsx. So I'll hit enter. Now I want to type this thing here, and this can be very difficult, or it will take time to type. So that is the reason for installing those our React snippet extensions. So the first one that we're going to use is the ES7. So to bring out a component, I'll type ROAFCE. So that is the shortcut access of that component. I'll hit enter, and it's going to give me this default code out of the box very fast. Then I'm going to clean this and write a h1 and type, hi, I am a car. So if I save this and save this and view the browser, you notice I will not see anything on my browser. Why? Because I've only created the component, but I've not called it, I've not invoked it. Remember, the component is like a function, and when you create a function, you must call it before it will run. So where do we call this our component? Sorry, to show on the browser. So as earlier explained, the app component is our window to the world, and that is why it is being rendered here. So I can call my car component here and it will still work, but just to make everything organized, just as recommended, I have to call it inside the app component. Now to call the app component, there are two ways you can do it: the long cut and the short cut, or the long method and the short method. So let me clean this because I'm not using it again. So I'm going to first of all import the component before I use it. That is the norm. So import car from dot and forward slash, go to my component slash car slash car. So I've imported the component. Then the next step is to add a component. So car slash car. So now I will have, if I save that and go to my browser, I'll have, hi, I am a car, which is very nice for us. So that is the long cut. Now what about the shortcut? So the shortcut is, I'll clean that. Now if I save this, I'm going to have errors, or an error. Now I notice it's blank here, but if I go to my console, it's going to show me reference error, car is not defined. So the shortcut is our attempt to type the car and wait for a suggestion from my IntelliSense, and this is a car component that is inside my own custom component. So I'll click what? Enter. Now notice it has auto imported it here, then space slash. So if I do this, I have the same output. So let's also activate this cat component. So again, I'm going to create a cat.jss. So remember, this is just the convention I use. The name of the folder will be in small letter. Then of course the name of the component must start with a capital letter. So that is just a convention I use. So I'll hit enter. Then again, to bring out the snippet or the boilerplate, you know what I will type? Remember, it is ROAFCE. So that will bring a functional component. If you want class component, there's also a shortcut for it, but remember, we are not using class-based component. So that has worked, and I'm going to type a similar thing, a h1 I am a brand new cat, something like that. I am a nice new cat. So if I save that, of course I will not see it on my browser because I have not called it inside my app component, which is my window to the world. Excuse me. So cat, I'll use the short method, hit enter to auto import it, and I will save. So now you see I have these two things. Hi, I'm a car. Hi, I'm a nice new cat. So that is how we create our own custom component, and in the next video we are going to learn about component props or React props.